Hello friends, happy Friday. My name is Victoria, also known as Lone Wolf Knits Online, and today I have a very special video. I would love to share with you my 30 unique and beautiful holiday sweaters for 2024. These are not necessarily new patterns that have just come out, but I've done kind of like a deep dive on Ravelry of what I would love to make this holiday season. I'm obviously not making 30 different sweaters, but I wanted to highlight them and show y'all my favorites. All of the patterns I will highlight is in a holiday sweater bundle on Ravelry, and I will throw the link below. And look, I know it's not even Thanksgiving yet, but any good knitter is thinking about holiday sweaters right now, and we all need time to plan and actually knit these things. So I thought it was just the perfect moment to ring in some holiday cheer and start discussing my favorite holiday sweater patterns this year. This is just sweaters. Mostly pullovers, although I do have a cardi or two in here, and they are mostly knit, but I've thrown in a few crochet, I think at least one. If you like this video, please leave a comment and let me know if there's anything that you're thinking about making that I have either highlighted for you or maybe something I've missed. And let me know also if you think I should maybe continue this series for those of you who don't knit sweaters and maybe want to do some holiday mittens, socks, cowls, I don't know, hats. I think it'd be fun. But let me know. And while we're here, grab some cozy beverages, maybe one or two, a current whip, and join me for this little journey. I tried to do some lesser known designers in this bundle, kind of like a deep cuts of Ravelry, if you will. Most of these have a wide breadth of sizes to choose from, and I'll quickly list out some of the stats, like what weight it's in, the max bust circumference, the needle size in US needles, if it's paid, what it costs if it is paid or if it's free. I'm going to go over them in some sections by general themes that I've come up with. I have pines, which is obviously sweaters that mainly feature trees as a motif. Fair Isle style, which is obviously like a lot of color work, very classic but holiday themed Fair Isles. Reindeer and gnomes, which I think deserves its own category, and Christmas lights and baubles. So these are sweaters that feature some sort of 3D element or embroidery, some sort of like applique kind of feature. I also have a few bonus children's sweaters and one very cute dog sweater, so definitely stay tuned to the end. And let's just jump over them together. I will be featuring the photos from Ravelry on the screen, and I will be displaying the name of the pattern and the designer's details. I'm not going to say the designer's names because I'm terrible at pronunciation, so I hope you'll bear with me on that. All right, let's jump into the pines section. Our first sweater is the forest sweater. This is a DK weight sweater, a bust circumference of up to 67 inches. It uses US size 5 and 3 needles, and it is a $10 pattern. I'll throw the pictures up here, hopefully, if I know how to edit this. I love how simple this is, yet different from your typical Fair Isle style. As you'll see in these other patterns, I really love a pine motif, and this is just really graphic yet really effective, I think. Only 2 colors, knit bottom up, and you sew on the sleeve separately. There's even a little tent detail on the sleeve, which is really sweet and I guess technically optional, but it's cute and adorable, and I think it really makes this sweater. That little tent you do in duplicate stitch, and the rest is stranded color work. Really love this sweater, so cute. Definitely been on my list for a couple years. I think it came out in 2017 or something like that. Yeah. Next sweater is our Christmas tree sweater. This is a worsted weight sweater. The bust circumference is up to 56 inches, US 7 and 6 needles. It is a $4.99 pattern. No color work. I wanted to include at least one with no color work. I just love how subtle this design is. I love the placement of the trees along the bottom hem, and I just think this is a really cute winter sweater that's not overly holiday. It's very wintry, but not overly holiday. You've got a lovely crew neck, some raglan shaping. It's listed as a unisex pattern. I just think it's really cute. Our next sweater is the Alaska sweater. This is DK weight, bust circumference up to 61 inches, US size 4 needles, and it is around $7 for the pattern. All of my dollar amounts are going to be US, by the way. I don't know if I said that in the beginning. Anyway, this sweater is absolutely beautiful. It came out a couple of years ago. It also has a matching hat, I believe, and it has been in my queue since it came out. I just think it's so beautiful. I love everything about it. The sleeve details, the tweed background yarn, it kind of like evokes this snowy night sky. I just love the sample. The overall moodiness is just so, so lovely. I love that it's cropped, but you could also probably very easily add some length to this. It's knit top down. We love it. Next sweater is the Spruce Island sweater. This came out in 2020. It is a worsted weight pattern, bust circumference up to 74 inches, US size 8 and 7 needles, and it's a $9 pattern. I love how graphic this is, and I love the striped sleeves. I love stripes in general, but mix it with a pine motif and I am all there. I just love the contrast between the very graphic pine motif all over the front of the sweater, and then that you still have some details on the sleeves. I always kind of have trouble finishing my sleeves, so maybe with stripes I wouldn't have as much trouble because it's still kind of interesting. Anyway, love that one. Next pattern is the Cabin Lake sweater. This is a sport weight sweater, bust circumference up to 64 inches, US 3, 4, and 5 needles, and it is about $7.30-ish US. I love the reflection effect in this design. I think it's really, really unique. It can be more than a holiday sweater. I mean, most of these can be more than a holiday sweater in this section, but I just love that it's so striking and screams winter wonderland to me. It's just very unique, a very unique take on a yoke design in my opinion, and I just really love it. It came out in about 2022, I think, November, and I just can totally picture it being on a cabin somewhere over a lake. I love it. That's probably my favorite one out of all these pine ones, but I'll try to remain as unbiased as possible. The next one is the Pine Forest cardigan. This is a cardi. DK weight, bust circumference up to 66.25 in inches. This is knit on US size 3 and 5 needles. It is a $7 pattern. This sweater is just unapologetically winter themed, and I love the ribbed v-neck. I never thought I would be a v-neck person, but after finishing my 3-season my 3-season pullover, there is also a cardi version. I think I'm into v-necks. I never thought I would be a v-neck person, but I'm into it, I think. This is also a good unisex sizing sweater as well. I could have put this in the Fair Isle section, but since it is mostly different like pine trees, I kept it here. I love the samples on Ravelry. There's not a lot. There's like 7 other projects up there, but I like the idea of using maybe like a slow fade yarn in this, like a spin cycle or a hand spun. I think that would be really cute and really effective. And I just think it's really fun. Love it. Next sweater, we have the Vintage Winter by Ginger Twist Studio. This is an Aran weight sweater. The bust circumference is 42 1/4, so not a lot of sizes. That's kind of a bummer. US 7 needles, and it is about $9, a little less than $9. I love this cropped little number. It has a very vintage feel, as the pattern suggests. I love the striped body, of course, and I love those cuff details. I really wish it came in more extended sizes, but I do think the yoke motif is pretty short. You know, it comes like maybe up to the top of the bust. So if you're familiar with sweater math and feeling adventurous, I think it can be made at larger sizes. I'm not an expert. I cannot do that sweater math for you, but I'm sure there's knitters out there that have attempted it. There's about, I think there's 49 different projects on Ravelry for it. So you might peruse those and see if you can extend the sizes a little bit. Next pattern is the Snow Sweater. This is a DK weight sweater that's made by holding fingering and lace together. It has a bust circumference of up to 63 inches, and it is done on US 4 and 6 needles. It's a $6, around $6 pattern. What do I have to say about this one? It's a very minimalist sweater with probably the most playful and festive sleeves that I've seen. I think this is so fun and can be worn throughout the holiday, like winter season, without feeling too holiday-ish. I love that it celebrates a snowy day, and I love that it's minimal. Not everyone likes in-your-face Fair Isle. I get that, and I just think this sweater is really special and unique. Next sweater is the Santa Baby sweater. This is the DK weight sweater, bust circumference up to 48 inches. It's done on US size 4 and 6 needles, and it is a free pattern. I wanted to throw in some free ones here, especially because a lot of us are trying to save up for Christmas presents, and you may not have the means to be able to afford a pattern to knit something for yourself or for a loved one. So I think these are really good options to have throughout these kind of bundles. Not a lot of sizes, but again, it is free. I love the picot detailing around the collar, and again, this like classic motif, pretty straightforward construction if you're a larger size and wanted to take a stab at some sweater math. It's classic, it's beautiful, we love it. Next pattern is the Snowy Forest sweater. This is a DK weight sweater. It is knit in size US 4, 6, and 7 needles, and the bust goes up to 60.5 inches. I love the mock turtleneck here and the colorwork motifs that are repeated on the cuffs and the hem. Very festive, very classic. I really love all the projects on Ravelry. I think this could look really interesting, again, in like a hand spun contrast color to kind of fade throughout that yoke and where the details are on those sleeves. Yeah, I love it. It looks like there's also some sort of matching hat maybe and matching mittens, so that is also really cute. And that is the last pine sweater in my little series here. I do, however, have a bonus kid pine sweater. As far as I know, this isn't made in a adult size. It's only for children. It's called the Jingle Bell sweater. It's a DK weight, and it goes up to 12 years old for the sizing. It is knit on US 2.5 and 4 needles, and it's another free pattern. So I love that. It's just so cute. I mean, holiday sweaters in children's sizes are always going to be really cute, but this one just really, I like the idea of this one, and some of the like the way that the trees are decorated, I think that's just so unique and really cool. So if you have a little one in your life, I think this is a great option. Our next section is Fair Isle. So these sweaters are obviously going to be mostly stranded colorwork, and very classic, very holiday themed. So let's get into it. Our first one is the Festive Yolk Pullover. This is a sport weight sweater, bust circumference up to 62 inches, made on US size 2.5 for 5 and 6 needles, and it's $9 and change. I love that this is cropped in a bit more tight fitting. I love the sample knit colors, but you could really have some fun with different colors instead of just two. This just feels like a really modern classic knit to me. I love the projects on Ravelry. There's about 600 to look through for inspiration. I'm sure some people have added length if you didn't want it to be cropped. And I also love the Ravelry name REINDEER knits. I just think that's so fun. So we love that one. The next sweater is the Winter Doodle sweater. This just came out, I believe, earlier this November. It's by Jamie Lomax. I've test knit for her before and had a wonderful experience. She's very popular right now. She's got a lot of those like doodle deck things out. And she's just like come on the scene as a very knowledgeable, very respected sweater, or not sweater, but she does a lot of colorwork designs that can be used in sweaters or other projects. I think this is her first sweater pattern, if I'm not mistaken, and it's gorgeous. It comes in with 51 different winter doodle motifs, so you can create your own design. I love that that's like choose your own adventure style sweater knitting. You can kind of pick and choose the ones that you would like. This is a DK weight sweater. It has a bust circumference of up to 72 inches. It's knit on US size 5 and 4 needles, and it is a $14 pattern. But again, you get 51 different winter motifs that you can kind of mix and match. I just think that's really fun if you're not interested in following a pattern to the T and you'd like to just kind of really make your own unique sweater in like kind of a Fair Isle motif. So love that sweater. The next one is Merriment. This is a fingering weight sweater with a bust circumference of up to 64 inches. It is knit on US 2 and 3 needles, and it is about $9.30. I love how maximalist this is with the all over colorwork. Very classic holiday motifs in here. Lots of possibilities to play with color and contrast. The projects on Ravelry are pretty diverse, so those are also going to be one that's going to be fun to peruse if you're thinking about making this sweater. It sounds like there's like a lot of different lengths that people have played with, so you can make it full length or you can make it cropped. I just love this. I especially love when people use a lot of different like winter greens in their Fair Isle sweaters. I am much more of a green person than a red person overall, but I just love the sample photos for this one. I think it's really beautiful and doesn't scream Christmas, but still has that holiday feel. Next one is the Bethlehem Jumper. This is knit in DK weight. It has a bust circumference of up to 66 inches, and it is knit on US size 4 needles. The pattern is about $9.80. I love this very classic Fair Isle motif. I especially love the gingerbread colors in the sample knit. I just think that is so beautiful and striking. I love how the white colorwork appears kind of like a fallen snow throughout the body after the yoke. We've kind of seen that in the winter doodle sweater as well. I just love that effect throughout the body. It also keeps the body interesting in my opinion, so you're not just knitting plain stockinette throughout. So we love it. Next sweater is Boreal. It's a worsted weight sweater, a bust circumference of up to 50 inches, knit on US size 7 and 8 needles, and it's about $9.50. I really love the large, bold graphics here on this one. This is definitely a must knit if you want a snowflake sweater. I just feel like it's really unique. It's going to stand out. I really enjoy the simple, the sample contrast colors, and I love that you can wear this pretty much all winter long. It's non-denominational. It's just a celebration of winter. It's really unique and beautiful to me. Not a large size range, but I did want to include it. Again, if you're familiar with sweater math, you can kind of go in there and do your own thing. But I do love that it's just bold, beautiful graphics. I'm into it. Next sweater is the holiday sweater. It's a fingering weight sweater, a bust circumference of up to 80 inches, which is super generous. It's made on US size 2 and 3 needles, and it's a $10 pattern. This came out last year. Again, I love a maximalist color work motif, but the sample keeps it all united with a very limited color palette, so of course you have that option as well. I love how this sweater is cropped. I especially love the sleeve details on this one, and we love a good fingering weight colorwork sweater over here. I'm not the biggest colorwork fan in general. I love seeing it and having it be finished, but I'm not the biggest fan of actually knitting it, which is a problem, but for this one I might actually go for it. I do really love the colors, love the final effect of this sweater, and I think it's worth it. Next sweater is the Boughs of Holly sweater. This is Aran weight, bust circumference of up to 55 inches. It's knit on US size 7 and 6 needles, and it's about $9 for the pattern. I love this modern motif and the subtle striping, like herringbone effect that it has. It's a really great cropped sweater, although I'm sure you could add length to your liking. I really like the minimalist color pattern. It looks like it's relatively simple color work, but just enough to be engaging. And I love that it's carried throughout the body and the sleeves of this sweater. So really nice one. I think I've seen a few of these out there. Like there's not a ton of projects on Ravelry for it, but yeah, I think it's classic, and again, one of those sweaters that's not like screaming holiday, but definitely has that winter feel to it. Next and last Fair Isle pattern is the Let It Snow sweater. This is a DK weight, bust circumference of up to 54 inches, US size 4 and 6 needles, and it is a free pattern. I love that it's a free pattern. I don't love that it has such a limited size range. Again, you do that sweater math if you're an extended size. I think it's a pretty simple top-down circular yoke, so you could attempt to make those adjustments for a larger bust. It looks like a great unisex design, although it's modeled by men, so I wanted to throw this in there. If you're looking specifically for a male sweater option, I think this is a really handsome one. I love how the trees kind of fade into snowflakes at the bottom. We've seen this in a couple of different designs, but I also just love how it's continued on the sleeves, and I think it's really beautiful. I also have a bonus kid Fair Isle sweater. This is the Magic Forest sweater. It's DK weight, up to 12 years old, US size 6 and 2.5 needles, and it is a $7 pattern. Love how cute and classic this is. Very, very similar to the adult patterns I mentioned. Worked in the round from the top down. It's adorable. Classic, I love it. If you have a little one that you're knitting for this season, I think this would be a really great sweater to make for them. Our next section is probably one of my favorites. It's reindeer and gnomes. The first sweater we have is Go Big or Go Gnome Pullover. This is knit in a light fingering weight. The bust circumference goes up to 63 inches. It's US 3 and 4 size needles, and it is about a $8 pattern. This has a coordinating hat and mittens as well, so if you wanted to really go nuts with the gnome theme, you could. I think this is such a cute sweater on its own or as part of the set, really, but I just think it's a very unique and fun holiday sweater. I especially love the little toadstool mushrooms along the hem. Like, that is such a beautiful detail, and it really just kind of goes with the gnome theme. Mushrooms are also very in right now, so I feel like this is very on point. This sweater came out in 2019, but I think it could have been released yesterday. It's beautiful. Next sweater is the My Dear sweater, DK weight, bust circumference of up to 64.5 inches, US 2.5, 6 and 7 size needles. It's about an $8 pattern. I love this yoke motif, so classic yet really fresh and kind of like graphic. I love the little reindeer noses on the color work. I just think it's adorable. And I think it's a great sweater pattern. I love when a yoke like this has like a lighter color on the top and then a darker color at the bottom. I just think it wears nicely for most people, even if you're not a full like Fair Isle person. Next sweater is the Fallow sweater. This is a DK weight sweater, bust circumference of up to 60 inches, US size 5 and 3 needles. It's about an $8 pattern. I love the sample photos for this one. I love a mock turtleneck. I love the placement of the yoke motif. It basically only goes across the bust, and I love the artistic quality of the deer. The designer mentioned in the description that she was inspired by a magical encounter with a deer in Ireland, and I just think that's so special and unique. It kind of has like a twilight woody feel, almost like the stylized design is just really unique. I've never seen a motif quite like this one, so yeah, I think it's really inspiring. I also love the tweediness of the yarn that she's used in this one. I just think it looks really cozy. That's probably what it is. It looks really cozy. And that is it for that section. Now let's move into Christmas lights and baubles. Our first sweater is the Vintage Christmas Lights Pullover. This is knit in DK weight. The bust circumference goes up to 68 inches. It is knit on US size 3 and 5 needles, and it is about a $7.50 pattern. I love how fun and playful this yoke motif is. I especially love the little highlight shine on the bulbs. I think that's a really nice touch. And it straddles that line between modern and classic for me in terms of the design. I just think it's really effective. I love that it continues throughout the arm sleeve. And yeah, it's classic but modern at the same time. So came out last year. Yeah, love it. Next sweater is a It Up Yoke sweater. This is worsted weight, goes up to a bust circumference of 62 inches, knit on US 9 needles, and it's about a $7 pattern. I absolutely love the sample knit colors with those pops of fluorescence throughout. I think it's really striking, those like black collar right next to the white. I think it's just modern, classic. I really love the details in the collar. I love the baubles rather than flat color work here. It's a great way to bust some stash, in my opinion. It looks like the entire lighting detail is embroidery based, so that's also really fun. But yeah, I think this is a great, you could probably even use that embroidery direction on an existing sweater if you really wanted to hack it, but I think this one is obviously worsted weight. It's going to end up pretty fast anyway, so if you're looking for something really quick, this might be a good one for you. Next sweater is the Holly Sweater Adult, which does imply that there is a child size, which is also very cute. I love the holly motif and those little berry baubles. This sweater is just more on the minimal side, but really effective and beautiful, especially if you held it with some really fluffy mohair or even suri. I think that would just up the cozy factor so much more. It's a Knitting for Olive pattern. It's been out for a few years now. It says it was published in December 2022. So still classic. I still feel like I see people making this. It's got a good amount of projects on Ravelry, over 200 now. So yeah, if you're looking for some inspiration, maybe peruse there. I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but it's a fingering weight sweater. It's using fingering and lace to get that weight. It goes to a bust circumference of up to at least 55 inches. The sizing is a little wonky in the description. Probably goes higher, but I'm just not reading it correctly. It's knit on US size 6 and 4 needles, and it is a $6.88 pattern. About that fluctuates. Next sweater is the Snow Wonder. This is a worsted weight sweater, bust circumference up to 72 inches, US size 7 and 6 needles, and it's $8.50 for the pattern. I love the simplicity of this sweater and the creative use of the bobble stitches to make the snowflake motif. It also comes in a child size if you wanted to make one for a little as well. I just think this is really simple but effective. Again, you could wear it throughout the holiday season or throughout winter, really. It's not particularly holiday themed, but I love that it's a very graphic use of bobble stitches. I think that's really unique, and it should, again, be one of those ones that knits up pretty quickly. It's in worsted weight. We love it. Next one, similarly, is a, it's called the Christmas Tree Jumper in the adult size. It is an Aran weight sweater, bust circumference up to 29 inches, which I think is measured flat, so it's really 58 inches. It is a crochet pattern, so you're using a hook size G and H to make this, and it's about $6.80 for the pattern. I think this is a really great looking crochet pattern. I don't know a lot about crochet, but it seems pretty easy even for a beginner to try, and it will definitely work up quickly in that Aran weight. I love a crochet bobble, so I just think that these would turn out really nice. It's very simple but a very effective design. And some of the projects on Ravelry, there's not a lot, but they use really fun colors, and I just love that. It doesn't have to be green and red or like some combo of those. There's like a really great purple and pink one that I think is really cute. It sounds like there's a child size as well, if I'm not mistaken. So if you need to do like a matching sweater theme, I think this would be a really great option. And lastly, if you've gotten to this point, thanks for joining me and running through all these. I have a bonus dog sweater for you. It is the Santa Dog Coats pattern. It is Aran weight, so we'll knit up very quickly, and it goes up to a size large, knit on US 8 needles, and it is a free pattern. I mean, I don't even know if I need to explain myself for this and how cute it is, but a Santa sweater for dogs. I mean, I love the little belt detail. I might actually knit this one for my two little rascals this year. It would probably be really quick to knit, super festive, super adorable. I just couldn't pass up the opportunity to highlight it. So that is the last sweater. I think it's perfect to end on that note. Let me know in the comments if you are planning on knitting one of these, or if I've missed the one that you are knitting. I would love to hear about it. And let me know if you would like more of these kinds of videos. I know it's different from what I normally do, but yeah, we'll see how long it takes me to edit all of this too. I'm a beginner in terms of video editing, so sorry that you have to witness this if it's bad, but we're learning, we're getting there. So I wish you all a happy knitting season ahead, and until next time, bye.